And now, my name is Jackie Wambiru. Our sign language interpreter this evening is Byron Abuli. Now, let's take a look at our top story. At least 300 families living along River Tana have been displaced by floods as the effects of the ongoing rains continue to be felt across the country. The development comes a day after President Uhuru Kenyatta called on Kenyans living in flood-prone areas to move to higher grounds. The weatherman has predicted heavy rainfall in various parts of the country over the next 5 days. Heavy rains continue to pound various parts of the country, claiming human and animal lives, submerging houses and destroying crops. In Garissa County, at least 300 families living along River Tana have been displaced by floods barely 3 months after returning to their homes after water levels left them living in displacement camps. In December last year, the same families were forced out of their dwellings after the river burst its banks. The most affected areas are Ziwani, Bakuyu, Bulashek, Windsor and Mororo. The victims are now forced to camp at ATC grounds, Kazuku Primary School, Young Muslim, and those from Mororo are taken to shelter along Garissa-Nairobi Highway.
Tuliotoka hapa, hatuna vyo, hatuna chochote. Na mahema pia hatuna, mvua inatunyeshea, hata vitu ya kula hakuna. Kwa hivyo tunaomba serikali zote mbili, upande ya kaunti na serikali kuu, wajaribu kutukimbilia kuweza kutusaidia.
Arid Lands Development Focus CEO Ahmed Ibrahim says the situation at the displacement camps remain dire as majority of the displaced families are victims of the desert locusts who destroyed their crops, leaving them with no food.
They had already problems of locusts. They had also the problem, now there is a problem of corona, and now we are talking about flooding. The situation is very dire. People need to be supported. Things like water, sanitation, hygiene promotion, awareness about corona, food are the key major important things now.
In Kajiado Central Sub-County, several villages have been cut off by raging flash floods, leaving residents fearing for their lives. At Torosei village, residents are unable to access the nearby Elbisil town, which they depend on to earn their daily bread, as well as acquire basic necessities. At Meto village, several homesteads have been marooned by flash floods, which have left roads in the area impassable. Kajiado County Commissioner Joshua Nkanatha has urged locals to move to safer ground so as to avert further floods-related damage.
Hii barabara inaunganisha Tanzania na Ilbisil town, ambaye kila mmoja anapita hiyo barabara akienda Bisil siku ya soko. Lakini hata nashangaa sana kwa sababu sijui watu watapita wapi wakija kwenda kwa hiyo soko.
Hakuna mtu anaweza toka sehemu ile kuja kuchukua chakula mtaani. Na unajua serikali sasa hivi imesema watu wakae manyumbani.
Tunaomba tu hii barabara itengenezwe, maana kwanza wajawazito ndio sana wanakuwa adhiriwa.
These even as religious leaders called on Kenyans to move to safer grounds and follow the government's directive during the rainy season. Now let's cross over to Kericho County, where county administrations have stepped up efforts to deal with the coronavirus pandemic that continues to devastate the globe. The county government Saturday launched Ndubusat Health Center, a 7-bed capacity isolation center, as part of ongoing efforts to contain the spread of the deadly virus.
A total of 163 health facilities in Kericho County have benefited with water tanks and soaps to assist in fighting the coronavirus pandemic, courtesy of a non-governmental organization. Speaking during the launch of a 7-bed isolation center at Ndubusat Health Center, Maria Kidney of the Brighter Communities Worldwide, an NGO from Ireland, says the facility will enhance ongoing efforts to contain the deadly disease.
Since the first case on the 13th of March, we have worked around the clock to sensitise communities on how to prevent COVID, on hand washing, social distance, and on coughing etiquette. And we've also supported the health facilities across Kericho County because we work very closely with the Ministry of Health.
Meanwhile, persons recuperating from jig infestation in Karunga, Murang'a County have donated an assortment of foodstuffs to support those affected by the COVID-19 pandemic.
Na tukatibiwa, tukapona, tukapewa madisi, tukaenda tukapada. Kwa wakati huu ndio inaendelea, tunaikula. Kwa hivyo sisi tunashukuru
Mwenyezi Mungu, na tukamwambia aongezee Bwana Kamau nguvu na uwezo.
We have decided to come and support those who are unable to access foodstuffs and other commodities. But what I want to say is that personally, I've been able to adopt this particular village to see that no one in this village dies because of hunger.
And landlords have continued to come to the rescue of their tenants by reducing or waiving their rent to help them cope with the coronavirus menace. At Ichuga Shopping Center in Nanyuki, Francis Midhamo has waived off half of his tenants' rent fees in his commercial plot until the situation improves.
Biashara imekuwa gumu juu ya hii ugonjwa imeingia ya corona. Sasa niliona tushirikiana na tenanti wangu niwalijuzie rent. Nikawapunguzia renti ile kila mtu analipaga pesa, nikawakatia walipe nusu.
Si wengi wanakatiwa nyumba ama kuambiwa wasilipe nyumba. Sasa tunashukuru, tunaona mkono wa Mungu.
And still on COVID-19, the country has witnessed upscaling of fumigation targeting hotspot areas as part of efforts aimed at containing the spread of COVID-19. But how effective is wide area spraying and cleaning contaminated surfaces?
Our day-to-day activities when we are doing disinfection in our institutions, we are using sodium hypochlorite, as recommended by the World Health Organization. And the concentration is 0.5% to give us the product that is going to be used to do proper disinfection. And in our domestic settings at homes, we are recommending people to use bleach. Bleach is normally the ordinary jig. You can take, if you're using jig from maybe repackaged jig, packed jig from the stores or shops, you can take 1 cup of jig to 5 liters of water for purpose of doing disinfection. If you're using for hand washing at home, because that's quite strong, you can use 1 cup of jig to 10 liters of water. That makes the hands clean and you reduce the microbial load. And that's why we insist on disinfection using the available disinfectants at our homes.
And away from that, calls for compassion and affection characterize messages beamed to worshippers who have been forced to follow proceedings from home in the wake of government guidelines banning gatherings. At Holy Family Basilica and All Saints Cathedral, where the Sunday services were broadcast live on the public broadcaster Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, Kenyans were urged to embrace the spirit of unity and support those in need, as well as follow government's guidelines meant to contain the spread of COVID-19 disease.
Churches remained deserted on Sunday as Christians followed teachings online and through televisions after government ordered worshippers to desist from congregating in churches owing to the threat of spreading coronavirus.
Dear fathers and our dear brothers and sisters,
at the Holy Family Basilica in Nairobi, the day's teaching was centered around forgiveness, with the clergy calling on Christians to pray for the nation as the world battles COVID-19 pandemic.
These brothers of Emmaus shared their bread. Are we sharing enough? Are we giving out what we don't need or don't need until it hurts, as somebody said? We are called to share our bread, our even fears with your brother. Let them talk to you and tell you what they're afraid of. Of course, the fear is the greatest. The finance is one of those. Death is another. And some have already experienced people dying in their family or others very sick. Share with them. Let them share with you too in a manner, maybe on a phone, maybe on an email, maybe on a Twitter, maybe on a Zoom, and let's have a chance. And more so, thank you, Lord, for giving us this opportunity.
The clergy calling on Kenyans not to stigmatize those found to have contracted coronavirus, but instead unite to fight the virus.
God cares and loves us, and no one is too small to be cared for.
They also urge the faithful not to break the government directives by congregating in churches in the name of spiritual nourishment.
Yes and no. We have a spiritual hunger, but we can receive remotely. We can receive a dose remotely by this experience we are having today.
For Channel 1 News, I'm Gladys Mungai.
Busia County Governor Sospita Ojamong is urging the national government to consider alternative ways of ferrying transit cargo to Uganda and other Great Lake regions in the wake of the coronavirus pandemic. Speaking after visiting flood victims in Busagwa, Rukala and Ndekwe in Bunyala sub-county, Ojamong said use of transit trucks continue to pose danger to those residing in border towns.
Busia County Governor Sospita Ojamong, during his visit to flood victims in Bunyala sub-county, raised the red flag on the dangers posed by transit trucks in the wake of the coronavirus pandemic. Ojamong cited the huge snarl-up witnessed in Busia and Malaba borders as possible hotspots for the spread of the infection. Ojamong saying fuel from Mombasa port to Kampala and other Great Lake regions could be ferried through the ports of Kisumu via railway to Uganda and Tanzania respectively. According to the county boss, the long queues of trucks in Busia and Malaba stretching over 10 kilometers have left drivers interacting freely with the locals, hence breaching the social distancing directive and mandatory 14-day self-isolation for those on trips.
Waanze kutumia reli sasa ama ndege za kubeba mzigo. Wawache kuleta watu kurundika hapa Busia ili wasambaze hii ugonjwa kwa sababu hii watu wanatoka Mombasa. Mahali watu wengi sana wameambukizwa COVID.
Busia County Commissioner Joseph Kanyiri said the national government will avail relief food in the next few days to residents of Bunyala, Samia, Teso North and Teso South who have been affected by the backflow of water from Lake Victoria and raging floods.
Hiki chakula kikifika, tunaomba kigawe na ile kamati yenu ndio kiweze kufikia wale wameadhirika.
Yusuf Farah, Channel 1 News.
Well, that report by Yusuf Farah brings us to our first break here on Channel 1 Lunchtime News. Don't go too far, we'll be right back.
What has been your greatest challenge as a parent during the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic situation? As we wait for the pandemic to be over at home, COVID-19 has given us an opportunity to reconnect with our children. Join Nakada during Good Morning Kenya Breakfast Show as we discuss positive parenting. Remember, parenting is all about you. Nakada, for a nation free from alcohol and drug abuse.
On the next episode of Elena's Ghost.
Tell me where she is. Tell me.
Oh, I don't know. She was around with the queen. The queen took her away.
Ma'am, is something wrong?
You want her to find out that she might have something serious? Is that what you want?
I do.
You can just calm down, calm down.
You took me out of the way to steal everything from Elena between Dario and yourself. But remember that it's not that easy to get me out of the way.
We're not kidnapping you. We're abducting you in this car for a bit, but it's not a kidnapping. You're Daniela's mother, right?
And welcome back. Now moving on, a 38-year-old man from Ruistaman in Kakamega County has died after allegedly suffocating in a gold mine. It is alleged that the deceased was mining gold in over 35-feet ditch when a power outage occurred affecting the oxygen supply equipment.
A dark cloud hangs over Ruistaman village in Lurambi, Kakamega County, following the news of the death of a 38-year-old man in a gold mine.
Residents here gathered in groups, trying to come to terms with the tragic incident. It is said that the deceased died of suffocation after a power outage occurred when he was inside the 35-feet ditch mining gold.
Alikuwa ameenda kuchimba video nini ya fedha anajifunia mwenyewe. Ajali imempata huko. Nilikuwa nimeingia kwa nyumba kutoka jua kali kidogo dakika 10 nasikia simu ananipigia. Mtoto ameshaenda zake.
Tukapata simu mahali anafanya kibarua Barostaman ameangukiwa na mchanga, na wakati tumefikia hapo tumekuta ametolewa ndani ya shimo, ako nje. Ni huzuni sisi watu wa family vile tumesimama hapa, hata tumeishiwa nguvu sababu
tukapata kuulizia shida huenda ilitokea wapi ama ilikuwa nini, na tukaeleza na yule alikuwa karibu na yeye alikosa oxygen kule ndani.
The chairman of the gold miners in the area, Timothy Mukoshe, however, says that he was in the process of mining gold to get an extra penny as the operations had been halted as a result of the coronavirus and the ongoing heavy rains.
Shimo vile ilikuwa imefungwa, alafu wakaifungua. Ilitaka ipewe muda ndiposa wapeleke pipe ndani. Haikupewa muda ili ipumue. Kazi ingine ya mining yoyote ile ya kuchimba kwa shimo ndani ya shaft yote imefungwa.
The residents here are calling on the government to aid them with the necessary mining equipment, as so far 3 people had met the same fate in the area.
Sisi tunaomba kama ni serikali iko inatusaidia, mtusaidie, mtuletee vifaa ambazo zinaweza tufanye tu update nini yetu mining ikue juu, kwa sababu hatuna nini, technology ndio iko chini.
Nancy Okware, Channel 1 News.
Now, moving on, the Kenya National Union of Nurses is alleging discrimination in the planned employment and promotion of healthcare professionals as part of efforts aimed at addressing challenges posed by the coronavirus pandemic. Union Secretary General Seth Panyako says it is discriminatory for the Ministry of Health to promote only 200 doctors, leaving out the other health professionals who are in the front line in the fight against coronavirus.
But if you not direct the Ministry of Health to engage these health workers, we can assure you that on Wednesday next week, we shall be issuing a nationwide strike and we shall not look back. Our members on the ground keep on asking us, where has the health package the President promised health workers? The only package you have seen is promotion of doctors. Nothing else. And therefore, we are ready to fight. But of importance, we are ready to dialogue. We are ready to sit down with the ministry. We can do teleconference. We are technologically aware. We can use all the gadgets technologically. You don't have to call us to go to the Ministry of Health physically. We can do that meeting through teleconference. So we are sounding a warning to the Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe. The good work you have done is going to go to the drain when we leave hospitals and we leave them for doctors alone. Because it appears those are the people who are known in this country by the government. They are the only ones who are working.
And away from that, Kenyans have been urged to exercise extreme caution while purchasing personal protective equipment as the country grapples with the deadly coronavirus. And the Anti-Counterfeit Authority is concerned by a surge in counterfeits and substandard sanitizers and face masks that have been the norm in Kenyan streets. So far, the agency has arrested 18 importers and stockists dealing with illegal and substandard protective gears.
The government's directive to have Kenyans don masks in public places, wash hands and sanitize often in efforts to stem the spread of coronavirus has created a demand for personal protective safety equipment.
Because we've seen an increase in importation of counterfeit COVID-19 kits and substandard COVID-19 kits. We've also seen an increase in the printing of labels that relate to hand sanitizers and things like that. Just to give an example, like 2 weeks ago, we seized actually expired masks, N95 masks being imported into Kenya from Tanzania through Namanga. The same last week, we seized counterfeits in the CBD that were being sold in a chemist.
In hindsight, this demand has also created an opportunity for unscrupulous traders to engage in illicit trade as counterfeit and substandard items flood the market.
From the kind of, let me call it, survey we've done, just intelligence gathering, almost all, actually a majority of the salons and the barber shops, the hand sanitizers they're using are counterfeit. And you'll know, some of them don't even have the KEB sticker, Some of them, you can even do the feel. They're thick, You put it on your hand and you feel it is sticky. So a good number of them are doing that. And most shops, especially the retail shops, are having counterfeit and substandard hand sanitizers. And what I noticed is that there are people who bring to them in big jerrycans, like 5 liters. Then they just, fill in as time goes along. So there's a big problem in that area. And even for public transport, they are having the same problem.
Johnson Andere from the Anti-Counterfeit Authority says downtown River Road has become a den for printing fake mark of quality stamps, a chain the agency is monitoring with a view to apprehending the masterminds. Between March 13th, when Kenya announced its first COVID-19 case to date, the authority has arrested 18 importers and suppliers dealing in both counterfeits and substandard safety items.
Now, the loss, the financial damage must run into millions. You see, first of all, there's the loss to reputation. If we seize, like the ones we've seized, we are always very careful in most cases not to tell the brand. If people get to know the brand that was found to be counterfeit or that was found to be in the country but expired, people will shy away from it. People will not buy. And that brings in a big problem to the genuine manufacturers, because they'll produce genuine, but because it has been associated at some point in time with the counterfeit or substandard, then people don't buy. So that is a huge loss to them.
Adera notes that barbershops, salons and public service vehicles are most susceptible to counterfeits and substandard items.
At the same time, we have decided to improve on our collaboration with other agencies like Kenya Revenue Authority and Kenya Bureau of Standards in exchanging information so that we speak from the same script together with Pharmacy and Poisons Board to deal with this. So at all the border points, we are working very closely to ensure.
As such, the authority is calling for public collaboration in reporting these incidences so as to protect the local manufacturing industry and save lives. Going forward, Kenyans have been urged to be cautious in their purchases and look for the telltale signs of fake products that include lack of marks of quality and failing the laid out guidelines.
Now, the first thing to look out for is the KEBS quality mark. In most cases, when you see that mark, it takes you in the right direction. So we would encourage people to look for that. We'll also encourage people not to buy these ones in unmarked 20-liter jerrycan or 5-liter jerrycan that is just being dispensed by people walking around. Because we know that there are some people, especially in Kayole, people walking around with that and, purporting to distribute to people.
Regina Manyara Guitar reporting for Channel 1 News.
And now on matters politics, divisions within the ruling Jubilee Party have been deepening, and the infighting now threatens the long-term existence of the once formidable political outfit. The bone of contention being renewed competition for control of the party by two warring camps. The latest discordance sparked by a series of protests from Deputy President William Ruto's allies, who are protesting changes to the party's top decision-making organ, where 5 new names were recently forwarded to the Registrar of Political Parties as displacements to the National Management Committee.
I had said before, it's not going to be business as usual for Tuju. Whatever letter he writes must be accompanied by minutes of those who attended the meeting and the resolution, because from now henceforth, we are not going to. We trusted them and we let them run the party the way they wanted, and we thought they were doing it for the good of the party. But they have come up with issues. Like you can really, how do you explain? Even though the meeting they claimed to have had was illegal, how do you explain replacing 3 people with 5? There is no way Tuju can sit with Morade and claim that they have had an NMC meeting where.
And still on COVID-19, active coronavirus cases across the globe has exceeded 2.9 million people, with the death toll surpassing 200,000. The United States has by the far largest number of cases, with more than 960,000 confirmed infections and about a quarter of all the fatalities, with over 54,200 of its citizens succumbing to the disease. Spain and Italy are the worst hit European countries, with each recording more than 20,000 deaths.
The coronavirus global death toll exceeded the 200,000 threshold as of Sunday morning, according to a tally by the Johns Hopkins University. The United States remained the worst hit country, recording 48,529 new cases of the coronavirus and 2,772 deaths, bringing the total death toll to over 54,000 and 960,898 confirmed cases. This, even as the U.S. state of New York began antibody tests for frontline healthcare workers. Spain has the second highest number of cases globally at 223,759, followed by Italy with 195,351. And after over a month of confinement, Spanish children are now allowed out on walks as the country attempts a return to normalcy, with the number of coronavirus cases decreasing. Italy will also start reopening its manufacturing industry on May 4th as part of plans to ease its coronavirus lockdown, with schools slated to reopen in September. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization has warned against countries issuing so-called immunity passports to those recovered from COVID-19, saying there is no evidence yet that the previously infected cannot be reinfected. In the United Kingdom, an additional 813 people died in hospital after testing positive for the disease caused by the new coronavirus, bringing the country's total to 20,319. Elsewhere, Saudi Arabia's King Salman has ordered the partial lifting of a curfew in all regions of the kingdom, except in the cities of Mecca and Medina, as well as the previously quarantined neighborhoods. And the Australian government has launched a controversial coronavirus tracing app and promised to legislate privacy protections around it as authorities try to get the country and the economy back. Meanwhile, the Chinese city of Wuhan, where the global coronavirus pandemic began, now has no remaining cases of the infection in its hospitals. The city had reported 46,452 cases, 56% of the national total, and witnessed 4,632 fatalities. And Cuba has sent 216 healthcare workers to South Africa, the latest of more than 20 medical brigades it has sent across the globe to combat the coronavirus pandemic. 11 countries around the world, including the US, have recorded over 50,000 cases so far, and 5 countries have recorded more than 20,000 deaths, with some 838,000 recoveries worldwide.
Now let's cross over to the coast region, where ferry services at the Likoni Channel have received a boost following the arrival of a new ferry, MV Safari. Kenya Ferry Services Managing Director Bakari Goa says the Turkish-made vessel was acquired at a cost of 1.65 billion shillings.
MV Safari, which began its voyage 27 days ago, arrived at Likoni Channel in style. Kenya Ferry Services Managing Director Bakari Ngoa says the modern vessel has a seat capacity of 1,359, including 12 special seats for persons with disability, and can carry 64 cars. The vessel will, however, ferry only 1,000 people so as to comply with Ministry of Health guidelines on social distancing.
For now, as you are aware, we cannot use the ferry immediately. It will have to go some checking, the ferry itself, the crew on board. So we will wait until we get the results of the crew on board or their status of COVID-19. Thereafter, the other processes will follow, which include now the final inspection of the ferry, also sea trials for the ferry, thereafter fumigation and sanitization of the vessel. We shall give it enough time to ensure that it is safe for everybody to use.
The vessel was expected to arrive on Friday evening, but due to high tidal waves in the deep sea, it had to halt its journey and finally arrived on Saturday evening. MV Nyayo, which is one of the old ferries, is currently under maintenance, with MV Harambee set to undergo maintenance works shortly after MV Nyayo is repaired. Ngoa says the service is working on plans to resume Mtongo ferry services.
As you are aware, again, Mtongo channel is under repairs. Once the channel is, the pontoons are completed, then we shall resume Mtongo ferry services.
To ease traffic along the Likoni Channel, which handles over 240,000 people every day. Reporting for Channel 1 News from Mombasa County, I'm Michael Mondiga.